I have been power of communication and the impact. Our children are watching us and they're listening, and they need to see positive examples. And if you believe that you have a voice, that you have a story, that I read something that really grabbed me. It said, write a book worth reading or live a life worth writing about. Let me repeat that again. Write a book worth reading. Her book is now #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Or live a life. I train speakers and I teach them that the best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest. The best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest. Something that I've considered a masterpiece that you just could not take exception to, and you just had to sit with some of those quotes in there and just take it in for a minute. You just couldn't digest this because it was potent. You need a little chaser with it. It was potent. If you believe that that's important, because believe me, we have so many young people who have it like that, and we don't get a chance to see them. We don't. She is not the exception. Okay, there are many, but unfortunately, the media don't focus on them, and that's why I'm so grateful. I want to share something with you that I want you to write down. The best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest. She clearly did that. The best speakers make the fewest words go the farthest. To be or not to be, that is the question. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. That when you are able to communicate and be selective of the words that you use, that will be deep and penetrating, and people have to marinate with it and meditate on it for a minute. That speaks for itself. Here's something else. She didn't just speak the words. I want you to keep this in mind about great communicators, people that I'm training. My classes have been filling up and running over. People now see what I've been talking about, the power of communication, that she experienced them. You know that these were not just words that she was sprouting out, that this was who she is. And we felt that in every word that she delivered. And that's very important. It was not just a reciting something that she wrote, but identifying with and being at one and congruent with the words that she spoke. And that's why we felt it. That's why we felt it, not just in terms of hearing it, but we heard it in our ears and in our hearts. And so it's just one thing to recite words, but there's something else to experience the word. The other thing is that where there was limited television viewing, that's major. There are algorithms on computers and television that's literally programming all of us, and particularly our young people, and warping and corrupting their thinking and their vision of themselves. And so I want to ask you, what is it you want to do with your life? The air feels better. Don't you feel lighter? I didn't get up this morning and ask what happened today. I think I'm going through withdrawals, PTSD. I don't know. But let me share this with you. Maximize this moment. Yes. Just think about this. I see this as a God moment. a God moment to look at yourself, at your goals, at your dreams, look at our children, look into the future, look behind and thank God, look around and praise God, look ahead and follow God, go within and seek God. And at this point in time, this is a time to take charge of your mind, number one, of putting positive things in your mind on a daily basis. I want you to go to hungrytospeak.com. We got some motivational messages there for you to watch and to listen to on a regular basis. And for those of you that would like to be coached and trained by me to teach you how to use your voice, and now more than ever. Why? Well, number one, there's no such thing as job security. And your ability to communicate, it's your superpower. It's your superpower, your ability to communicate. There's no way that I would have been able to be successful in television and radio and becoming a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio, or doing what I'm doing now, speaking nationally and globally around the world virtually. I don't travel anymore. Don't want to do that. Homie don't want to do that. And neither does Tyrone. But that's another conversation. But this is a time in the attention economy. Listen to me. In the attention economy, in order to call attention to yourself and hold the attention and to motivate and inspire and direct the attention, your ability to communicate is your superpower. Warren Buffett said, not being able to communicate is like being in a dark room with a woman and wink. He says, nothing happens. Nothing happens. And so this is a time in order to advance your career in corporations. They're saying that your ability to communicate, your communication power, your presentation power is more important than your technical skills, because you got to work with people. You got to be able to communicate ideas and concepts and get things done and create an environment of people being together even though they are far apart. And the people who can communicate in this world, in this new world order, in this environment, are the people that are going to win, are the people that are going to dominate their market, are the people that are going to be the effective leaders. Communication, it's your superpower. Invest in yourself. Put in the time and the effort to learn. And when Warren Buffett graduated from Harvard University, the first thing he did was he took a communications course. And so when I think about my life, there's no way that I could have accomplished what I've accomplished in millions of lives that I've been able to touch had I not been willing to invest in myself to develop my communication skills. When I had Mr. Leroy Washington at Booker T. Washington High School in Overtown in Miami, who said, young man, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. If you're ready to take your life to the next level, if you want to have a competitive advantage in pursuing your goals and your dreams, allow me to coach you in how to do that. And we will share with you. We had a class the other day, and I mean to tell you, people would just say, oh my God, I had no idea. See, in order to be successful, one of the things that's important is being around the right people, being in a community of people that have experience, that have a track record, that's known, because that association brings credibility and respect. And so this is a time that you want seasoned, experienced, trained eyes looking at you and helping you to connect with your power voice, helping you to begin to develop the greatness that you have within you, helping you to begin to manifest the potential and to bring out the greatness that you have lying dormant in you right now, to develop new relationships, to build national and global networks of people who believe in you, who trust you. Today in business, people look at you, they're asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And your ability to communicate that is major. That determines whether or not you're able to negotiate well, or make a point, or influence people, or make a sale, or build an organization. Communication power. If you believe that that's important, and if you'd like to improve your communication skills, and there are a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know, and they think they know. There's certain nuances, there's certain strategies in communication that when you learn them, and through practice and through coaching, it changes your revenue, it impacts your bottom line. It will empower your advancing in your career. The things that I've been able to do, my kids that are standing behind me, they know the value of effective communication skills. You know, one of the most difficult things to do is work with your children and get them to see what you see, but they know, and they're very successful in what they do. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals, and look at your dreams, this is the time. It's a brand new day. We really should be going all in, going all out, not sitting back waiting to look for things to change. No, be a part of the change. Become the architects of our own future, not having any fear of anyone, but moving forth, being of good courage, and designing the life that you want rather than the life that you have been handed. Whatever your goal, whatever your dreams are, I'll show you how you can use your voice to advance yourself, how you can use your voice to overcome the obstacles, how you can use your voice or any barriers that's in front of you, how you can use your voice to create a life that you can be proud of, that your future self will say, thank you so much for making that decision. I am so excited. I'm looking forward to working with you. It's confirmation of the power of communication. Her book went to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. And people around the world are still talking about who spoke, and people listened and felt it and responded and were in awe. People said, you know what? I want to do it like that, and we can help you do that. If you're ready to take your communication skills, your speaking skills, your presentation skills to the next level, to increase your knowledge, to increase your approach in your market, to dominate your market, if you're ready, your voice plays a major part of that. Your voice is your superpower. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. Death and life is in the tongue. This is your time. This is your time. This is a breakthrough moment. Don't sleep this. Don't sleep this moment. Move with a sense of urgency. Don't sleep this moment. It's a brand new day. A brand new day.
So since we're there, right before we came on today, I was talking, you want to tell them the story about the 99-cent store, the dollar store, the Walmarts, the Neiman Marcus? Yeah.
First of all, he's still in diapers. I'm 72. Yeah. All right. I served at the Lord's Supper. So let's get that straight. I'm an old guy.
When he was 15, I was being born.
All right. Yes. And I believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And that's why I admire you. And that's why I have no qualms about asking you to mentor me in this next chapter of my life, because I'm not through yet and there's much more for me to do. And I was talking to you about your model, going from competing, his business model, competing with dollar store all the way up to thousands of dollars. And that is so brilliant. One of the things when I read the book, Alvin Toffler, Future Shock. And he talked about the fact that when we go from a domestic economy to a global economy, an education economy, that things are going to change, and it will be a time where people have to think and have to be creative and find ways to do what they do in a far more effective way, do more and do it faster and with less resources and manpower. You have mastered that, and you're teaching others how to do it. We learn, we earn, and we pass it on. And that's what I admire about you, that you're passing it on. It's not just about you, but you're building a legacy and empowering people who will go into a future that neither one of us will see, that will take it to the next level. And that's exciting.
How many speaking gigs have you done around the world? Any idea how many stages you've been on, Les? The legend, Les Brown, is in the studio. I'm so excited.
I've spoken to as many as 80,000 people. If people go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, and the speech is called "It's Not Over Till You Win." Dexter Yeager from Amway, he put that event together. The largest gathering of entrepreneurs. That was the largest audience of over 80,000. Last year, I spoke in Poland to over 25,000. That was a very powerful gathering. But I've spoken in so many places.
How many times? I know you've been in Miami 4 times in your entire career.
In my entire career.
Only 4 times, by the way.
Only 4 times. Yeah, and I was born in Liberty City. Right? Born in Liberty City, an abandoned building with a twin brother. We're adopted.
I'm a twin.
No, you're not.
Identical twin, man.
Whoa, we're fraternal twins. Okay. And so, he looks like my son because I use mascara to cover my gray. There's no shame. I'll put her on stage, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, but so Wesley and I were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. She had a 3rd grade education. She worked on Miami Beach for wealthy families. And my dream, as we were coming up, was to buy her a home. That's what drove me. And one of the families that she worked for, Mrs. Swiderski, used to listen to Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret in the World, and Bill Bailey and Glenn Turner. And that was early stages of cultivating my mind and my thoughts. The Strangest Secret in the World.
Okay.
That was the first motivational message that I heard that sold over 1 million. He was an insurance executive, and he created these motivational messages for his insurance agents to listen to. And their performance began to increase. He had just an incredible voice, and I loved his voice and his content. And then I ran into Jim Rohn, and he worked for a guy named Bill Bailey. He had a company called Best Line Products. And I heard Jim speak. I was fascinated by him and Bill Bailey from Louisville, Kentucky. And those speakers spoke into my life. I always tell speakers, I train them now, and I say that when we speak, we create, as you know, an experience, because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And so when you speak, what you do is distract, dispute, and inspire. You distract them from their story with your story. Through the strategic execution of your story and the things that you have learned and the failures and the setbacks and the victories, you dismantle their current belief system and inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. Distract, dispute, and inspire. We create an experience. And I believe that the reason that many speakers aren't able to do what we do is they feel that information is important. And I can tell you unequivocally that if information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy.
Yeah, that's right. You hear what he's saying, okay?
Yeah.
He's talking about the dismantling of the old story that you're telling the world, okay?
Yes.
And some people have the ability, the magical, miraculous ability to do that. This man right here has it.
You have it too.
Thank you.
I've been watching you. I said, you can't sneak up on the old man. I said, look at him. You think you're going to ambush me? No way, Jose.
Me and Les Brown are going to be working together.
Yes.
March 17th, 18th, and 19th, right here in Miami. He's only spoken here 4 times in the world. You've probably been to Europe more than 4 times.
Oh my goodness, yes. I've spoken in Poland, in Johannesburg, South Africa, in Australia, in London, England, and Hong Kong. I've spoken all over the world.
And you know, Les, I mean, you're 72. I'm 58 years old. I now, you have 10 kids.
Yes, 5 boys and 5 girls.
You're trying to tell me to
You've got to pick up the pace. Yes, there's a little, he said, be fruitful and multiply. I took him serious.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
He's 10X. This dude is
That's
10X.
what I'm talking about. Can you feel a brother up in here?
Yes. I can. And so, I mean, look, you and I'm sure you do, and I'm transparent, so I'll talk about this. I know I'm at the, closer to the end of my career than the beginning.
I don't think so.
No?
No, because part of delivering this message, when you're in alignment with your purpose, I believe that gives you more time on the universe. Just look at me. I'm 72, but I don't look it. I don't have a 72-year-old energy. And there's a difference between that physiological age and that spiritual age. And I think when you're in alignment and doing what you're supposed to do that pleasures God, that it keeps you young. You have the energy of a 20-year-old. And so that allows you to be
But I mean, there's going to be a time when you and I are not live in these bodies on a stage.
Without any question. And I'm not looking forward to that. We have the ability, we've developed over a period of time, and I don't know exactly when it happens, where you can speak to a crowd of people and you're speaking to them as a group, but also individually, that they come away as a result of your speaking into them. And as we weave a story with our experiences because of who we are behind the words that we speak, because of what we've gone through. A person hasn't gone through anything. It's hard for them to reach somebody's heart because they've never been there. Sometimes God has to break a life before he can use a life. And so you and I, two individuals, come on down. Yeah, we've been broken. And so he put us back together. And as a result of that we can be used, but we couldn't be used before. And so to me, to be able to be a channel to help people discover a part of themselves that they could never discover by themselves. That's what you do, that's what we do. And that's why people listen to us and come to us.
So why do people, so many people want to be public speakers, but are also fearful of it? And how can you help that person?
When the training that I do, that they speak immediately. That's the quickest thing to go. They speak immediately. You have to set them up so they don't have time to think. And so in the training, they speak immediately and they love it because I believe that we're supposed to be doing this. I had a lady flew from Australia recently and to be trained by me, and she emailed me and said cost is not an issue. And so I asked her the second day, and I only train with people that I feel a close connection with one-on-one. And I said, why did you want to come to me? She said, I saw American television and it talked about this young white boy that went into a black church and killed 9 people. And she said, I said to myself, what if I had gotten in his ear? She says, nothing enters except through the eyes or the ears. And she said, and this gave me goose pimples, she said, you speak from your heart. And I want to learn how to do that because I believe the world is the way that it is, not because a few people are violent. She said, the world is the way that it is because too many people are silent.
Yes.
And I said, whoa. And I decided
that's awesome.
that my goal is to help people outside of politics and outside of religion, which polarize people.
Have a voice.
Politicians say, do as I tell you to do and I'll give you a piece of American pie. Ministers say, do as I tell you to do and I can teach you how to live after you die. And our goal is teaching people how to live right here, right now, because the difference ultimately between what we do and what ministers do, they preach the gospel about Jesus. We preach the gospel that Jesus preached. They sell the messenger and we sell the message. And so as a result, we can empower people to take charge of their lives and begin to create a new story, to write new chapters with their lives.
So like Les talked about the lady from Australia that says it's not because of the violence, but because of the silence.
Yeah.
I think most businesses fail. Most brands never make it. Most people never reach their greatness because they don't know how to tell their story.
Yes, that's major.
What will you be sharing with the audience? Because look, man.
Let me just share with you why the story is important.
Success.
Yes. Why the story is important is because when you speak, if you're selling, you're an entrepreneur, you got a product, you have an expertise, knowledge is a new currency. People are asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so if you don't answer that, because we know people do business with
what, why?
Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And when you can answer that, now you're building a rapport and a connection that creates a possibility where you can do business together and help each other go to that next level.
Guys spoken all over the world. Emmy Award winner for fundraising for public broadcasting.
Yes.
Fortune CEO, Fortune 500 CEOs all over the world, small business owners, nonprofit, community leaders. You're an inspiration to me because you sit out in front of me and give me like what is possible. Right?
Yes.
So you've really been an inspiration to me. And,
Thank you so
I know
much.
millions and millions of others. I look
And
forward
you've
to
done the same for me, and you play it down. You're so humble.
No. I'm not humble. I'm not a humble man.
You just
I'm not-
humble bread. You just humble bread.
No, I'm
but
not
I ain't going for it.
I am not a humble man. He's going to speak on Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Saturday.
And you know, this is
But you got to
for
come
me.
in the night before, man.
I will come in the night before because I live here now.
Okay, good. So we're
Yes.
going to have a yacht party.
Yes.
Can
I
you
look
can you
forward to
swim?
it. Yes, you can't be in Miami and not swim.
Dude, I've met so many people here that can't swim. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing on planet Earth that's 2/3
Yeah,
water and you
they,
can't
They
swim?
won't be around too long. Yes.
Les Brown, folks, a legend, okay? If you don't have his book, Laws of Success, okay, go get that book today on Amazon.
Yes.
You can get it anywhere, right?
You can get it on Amazon primarily. But the other thing I'm interested in people checking is out at the Les Brown Institute because I think it's my mission to train these new voices of hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. We live in the greatest country in the world. There's something wrong when people try and outswim sharks to get here or outrun a Jeep barefooted to get here.
To come to the country.
And the suicide rate in America is higher than the number of people that were killed last year in car accidents.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with that. They lost
Crazy,
hope.
man.
And we are voices of hope. When there's hope in
Yeah.
the future, that gives you power in the present. And that's what my goal and mission I feel that God has with me, the Les Brown Institute, is to train people how to tell their story and to transform the lives of other individuals. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, he's going to stick to that because that's what he's been doing for 40 years, okay? And he's going to stick to you. If you're committed to your health, to your well-being, to your wealth, to your future, your family, the love, whatever you believe in, we want to help you. March 17th, 18th, and 19th in Miami. Now, look, if you can't get here, I'm going to stream it to them.
Yes.
We got people, a guy called me the other day and said, hey, look, I got 10 people, I bought 10 tickets. I can't get down there because of this.
Yes.
We're going to stream it to those people, okay? I know you got a bunch of your folks coming.
Without any question, and all my children will be there too.
Okay.
So that's going to have the place half full.
And you're going to be there to have fun, okay? I'm telling you, this is going to be the best.
Yeah.
He talked about that Georgia conference.
Yeah, Georgia Dome. I was speaking to 80,000 people. Call It's Not Over Till You Win. They can see it on YouTube.
Now, what if there was only 2,000 people in the room
It doesn't
rather than
matter.
80,000?
It doesn't matter.
But don't you think those
Trust
2,000
me.
would get more?
They will get more out of it because I'm going to get the butter from the duck. Trust me on that.
The butter from the duck.
Yes.
You want to talk about the pepper in the fork?
Yes, I've been eating hot pepper on the fork right before this event because I'm going to be fired up and hungry.
I guarantee he will do the single best presentation of his entire career because the bar has been raised, folks. Look at
Yes,
the
it has
people
been.
here, okay? Jay Abrahams. You know Jay.
Absolutely.
What'd you say about Jay?
Jay is very knowledgeable and he's
Big
gonna do
words.
yes, he's big words.
You got
But
it.
there's some people, there's a market there.
There,
Because
Kevin
in
Harrington.
every
You know Kevin
audience,
from
the
Shark
audience
Tank?
is inside of the audience. Yes, I know Chair. Kevin.
Infomercial genius.
Yes,
okay?
he's good.
Done almost $1 billion on infomercials.
Yeah.
You know Tim's story that
Yes.
worked with Oprah?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tim is good.
Tim Grover worked with Kobe and Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you play basketball?
Yes, and I got a good hook.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on, man. I think he's exaggerating.
Ask Michael
now.
about me. We were born on the same date. He and Jim Brown,
you
February
kidding?
17th. Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I think we're beyond public speaking now. Do you know this dude, Andy Frisella?
Yes, but not
Okay.
personally.
$100 million
yes.
earner.
Yeah, he's
$100
a
million
bad
a
boy.
year.
Yeah,
okay?
that's somebody I
Jamie
want to know
Shanks,
more.
Roddy Chong, I'm bringing in a violinist.
You know,
You don't know this dude. He's a little Asian
Yes,
dude.
he's
Makes about $3 million bucks a year.
Very expressive. when
You
he
know this
plays.
dude? You
Yes.
do. Bobby Castro. You don't know Bobby.
No, I don't know
The
Bobby.
white dude, man.
Yes.
Right here in Miami.
Right here in Miami?
$600 million valuation.
What does he
of this
do?
company. Actually, Bankers Healthcare. I think you spoke to
Yes,
this
I
group
spoke
once.
there.
Okay. Jack and Telly,
No.
$1.5 billion business.
Man, what a powerful lineup you have.
Per
you know
year,
what?
per year.
Per year.
For every year, he bangs out $1 billion. There's
You
a
know
$1 billion list, but look, it wasn't going to be complete
Yes.
without my man, Mr. 10X, the original 10X, because he had 10 kids. Okay?
As you are such a powerful speaker, you spoke about powerful speaking. How did you become such a powerful speaker yourself?
Well, people say that I'm a powerful speaker. I think I'm a much more effective speech coach. But I study. I believe that as you look at yourself and you have the sacred opportunity to speak to audiences, to inspire them, because at the end of the day, when we speak to an audience, there are three things that we want to accomplish. We want to change their collective thinking. That's number one.
and how they see themselves and the story they believe about themselves. The second thing is that our goal is to not only change their thinking, but to broaden and to expand their vision of what's possible in their lives. And the third thing is to inspire them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. And so I think that what people admire me for, and why I received the highest award from the National Speakers Association and Toastmasters International Golden Gavel Award, and was selected among the top 5 speakers in the world. I think what they admire me for is the impact that I've made with audiences, achieving the objectives that I just talked about. Because when people hear you speak, the goal objective is for them to leave there feeling better about themselves and talking about the experience that you created for them to get that vision of themselves. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And my goal is to, when I speak to an audience, is never allow them to be comfortable with living a life of mediocrity, of being comfortable of being average. With people who are living a level of being average, those individuals are going through life doing the things that they feel that they need to do. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're living from a place of responsibility. You go through life doing the things that you are called to do, that you see yourself answering the calling on your life, doing those things that create value for people, that will make a difference in people, and that will leave a legacy.
How many of you, since you've been here, you have gotten some value that will impact your life personally and your bottom line? Raise your hands, please. That's what it means. It consists of the wills and the will nots. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today. Invest in yourself, fix and coaching. In order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today. Develop strategic relationships with people that you can learn from, that others won't do. In order to have the things tomorrow, others won't have. You're investing in yourself. You're coming here, flying here, driving here. You're taking the time to learn new strategies and how you can offset the competition. Makes you different. You're uncommon. One great American said, "I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dull by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still cloud of utopia. I will never cower before a master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done." That's why you became an entrepreneur. That's why you're here. You have the boldness and uncommon desire to control your own destiny. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring the evening up there.
How do you get ready for an important speech?
Well, one of the things that I teach in terms of preparation for a speech is find as much about the audience as possible. Who are you going to speak to? Do what I call communications intelligence. You want to get all the information about that organization, the mindset of the audience, what are the goals and objectives they want to achieve. We have a needs assessment that we will provide for you. What is it that these entrepreneurs are looking for? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do they bring to the table of business? How do they see themselves locally and globally in the scheme of things? What is it at the end of that presentation that you want people to walk away from? And then what I do is craft a message. And in the embodiment of that message, in that presentation, in that workshop, the things that will allow them to achieve those objectives. This is to improve their skill set, if it's to expand their attitude and their vision of themselves and what's possible for them, if it's to challenge them and to inspire them to take their lives to the next level. Those will be the things that we will emphasize in that presentation, that as a result of them being exposed to that experience and the information and all of the things that I've learned over the years of doing this, that they leave there with something of value that they can sink their teeth into, that they can go and start applying it in their lives and in their businesses.
How did you get good at it, and what advice would you give?
Don't struggle with that. Laughter is a lubricant that allows us to handle and navigate our way through life. Don't struggle with that. I don't tell jokes, but people say that I'm funny. So you find things that you can use that will trigger laughter. And particularly if you're a presenter, because when you use humor strategically, case in point, you know, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you know people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves? And I remember a time in my life, I was so broke I'd walk past the bank and trip the alarm. and then I had a moment. I got a call. Leslie, my sister, Margaret Ann, are you sitting down? What's wrong with Mama, Margaret Ann? Mama's got breast cancer. She's got breast cancer? Yes. I'll be there tomorrow. Leslie, you don't have to do that. You just got elected for the third time. Listen to me. I promise her, if anything happened to her, I will be there. How many of you have somebody that you love that anything ever happened to them, that you would be there for them? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to write this down. Earn walk-away money. That I had a job in LA. I was making over $220,000 for 2 hours on a radio station, on CBS radio station. And I walked away. I left. They said, are you crazy? I said, my mama needs me, and I'm gonna be there for her. But you noticed the laughter before and how I came to that place? Write this down. Never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. So rather than doing the stuff like our friends that we know in the industry that's pushing, getting planes and boats and making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I said, you know, you want to be in a position if something happens to someone you love, that you can be there for them, that you can do more than just pray for them. Does that make sense? When I asked that question to the audience, and James is right about the power of questions, now I've created an opening in the presentation so that they now are a participant in the story and the presentation that I'm creating, because we're orchestrating an experience in this audience now. There are audiences inside of each audience. People who've gone through some stuff, some people who need humor, some people need content, some people need passion and energy. And so when we are talking to people who are separated by education, by the things they've gone through, that as presenters, we have to create a presentation that will allow us to make that audience, and those audiences inside of the audience, one audience, by listening to the listening of the audience, and then using your story strategically so that your story becomes their story, and you create an experience where you take them to a place in themselves where they can't go by themselves. That's what I'm doing now at this stage of my life, because there's no success without successors. Training speakers on how to take their life, their story, their skills, their hunger to make a difference, to make their mark, to live a life that will outlive them, and be able to make a difference in people's lives, to promote themselves and knowledge in their companies.
You know, to speak to, you could probably articulate this, which you're already doing pretty well, is that my version of this is somewhere along the way I was reading so many books and trying to figure out how to learn more effectively. Like, how does one accelerate learning? And so for years I would share with my service business clients early on when I went from dead broke carpet cleaner to learning how to make that business work, then taking, wow, I figured out a bunch of things that work, and now how do I share them with other people? And I'm definitely afraid of speaking, so I don't want to go speak, and then I would force myself to be in situations where I had to present, although I was a nervous wreck. And then I started going to Toastmasters, and that was incredibly beneficial. And then it dawned on me wow, I'm learning this stuff so much quicker because I'm now putting myself in a position to have to teach other people. So I would then, later share 3 ways to learn something. You learn through the School of Hard Knocks. You just don't ask for directions. Before GPS, there was that whole stereotype of men never ask for directions sort of thing. You just bumble your way through life. You figure it out. You'll learn stuff, but you're going to fail a lot. It's going to be painful. So that's one way to learn. Second way to learn is you learn through the experiences of other people. You read their books, go to their seminars, buy their courses, learn, get educated. Not education in school, but education out of school, right? Real life education. And that's a more effective way to learn. That's why I read a lot of books. That's why I've gone to a lot of seminars. That's why I've hired a lot of people. So then the third way to learn, which is the most, accelerated, fastest way, is you start teaching other people, because then you have to integrate it at a whole nother level. So
I would challenge that.
Let's talk about buried treasure and why you opened the book with this, because your story and my story has a lot of similarities, and our journey, the journey that we took to being where we are today. But every author has a journey. And how has your journey actually influenced you as a best-selling author, as a business mogul and motivational speaker? How has that influenced you?
Well, being born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother, Wesley, and then after 6 weeks we were taken in as foster kids by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I am on this broadcast with you because of 2 women. One gave me life and the other one gave me love. I always say that God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And I always quote Abraham Lincoln, who said, "All that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother." And so that being in that environment, born in that environment, but most of all, the impact and the influence of the character of my mother, her faith, her drive, her determination. I remember a reporter when I had a talk show, King World, and they paid me $5 million to do it. And the reporter asked her, "How did you know that you could raise 7 children by yourself that you've adopted as a single woman?" And she said, "I just felt that the Lord would make a way somehow." And that has driven me that I talk to people, you don't know what you can't do. You don't know enough about yourself to be a sinner. That there are things that we can do. We are more than conquerors. We're here, I strongly believe, to do the greater work. And that we don't have to operate out of the thinking of being logical and practical and realistic. I believe leap and grow your wings on the way down. Yes. Become risk takers. We're taught to walk by faith and not by sight. And so my environment, it created within me a mindset of being unstoppable, of believing, of trusting, and living an expanded life. Most people live a small life because they have this limited vision of what's possible for them based upon the culture that they live in and the conversations that they have been exposed to, and they don't even know. It's unconscious. And so we've all had moments in our lives when we've done things outside of our comfort zone, and we say, "Wow, I can't believe that I'm doing this." Because now, when you operate out of your comfort zone, in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. That's why Paul said, "I must die daily." We must die daily to who we are, to give birth to who we are destined to become. But most people don't realize, and they don't evolve. They get on a track and they stay on that same track and never get off that particular track. And they take their talents, their abilities, their skills,
their dreams with them to the grave. And so when Miles Monroe said that the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, that's real. My best friend, when he died, he was a great cook, and he always talked about having this recipe book that he was going to have. He fixed great Jamaican and Caribbean dinners and plates. He was a master chef. And I'll never forget when I left his graveside after the funeral, a lady came up to me and said, "Did Alexander," we called him Boo, did Alexander ever write that recipe book? And I said, "No." And she said, "Whoa, he took that with him." And so most people take their talents, their abilities, their skills, their knowledge, the things lying dormant in us. We were not born to be one-dimensional. We were born to do things, to experiment with life, to become a risk-taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I love what Mary McLeod Bethune said. Pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So you don't have to know. Do the best that you can, and God will do what you can.
Thank you so much. What an amazing answer. I have someone that just texted me not too long ago, and one of the questions he asked, he said, like Mr. Brown, I was adopted. What were the circumstances when discovering what were the circumstances when you discovered you were adopted? And how did that shape your mind as a motivational speaker? And it's a two-part. The second part is being a top motivational speaker and best-selling author your job or your purpose?
It's my purpose. Mm-hmm. Yes. We were not born to work for a living. We were born to live our making. And making our living will earn whatever we want to earn in terms of life. I was born to speak. My children tell me I talk in my sleep. I used to get in trouble in school for talking so much. Now when I speak in the United States, I earn $70,000 an hour. There are people who work a whole month that don't earn that. And when I speak outside of the United States, I earn $225,000 an hour. So when you connect with your superpower, there are things that you're able to do that you don't even know how to do, but you will find a way to do it. When I spoke in the Georgia Dome, I'd never done that before. And if people go on YouTube and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, they'll see me speaking before 80,000 people. That's confirmation when they see that. They can do more. Remember in the Lion King, Simba, you are more than that which you have become. They will realize, oh my God, if he could do that. I was labeled educable, mentally retarded, and put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and failed again in the 8th grade. They said I was a troubled kid, that I was touched in the head, that I run my mouth too much. Okay, and now, I mean, I get paid to speak. Well, I mean, sir, when I get up in the morning, I say, oh God, all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. And so when you, in alignment with your purpose, you will be able to do things that you don't even realize and know that you cannot do. That's why we're told to walk by faith and not by sight. We're told, judge not according to appearances. And so this is how I live my life. I didn't know I could do this. And sometimes you have to be intelligently ignorant. Because of aerodynamics, a bumblebee isn't supposed to fly. But the bumblebee doesn't know it. So it just keeps on flying anyhow.
Yes. And I often say, Mr. Brown, that we're all winging it. And so we're all winging it. So one of the things I love about listening to you, and I listen to you every single day, And not too many people get my attention like that, I could tell you. But you have a brilliant mind, and your ability to take a quote, one quote, and build an entire message around that is nothing short than brilliance. And one of
you have that gift too, because one of my favorites that you do, but God, come on somebody. Let me tell you something. I was running around the house and accidentally fell and flipped and hit my head on my, and left myself half conscious with a hickey on my head. Shout to but God. You messed me up when that was there.
I love how you do that, how you massage a text and you massage the hearts and minds of individuals. And it's a gift, to tell you the truth.
What is your favorite commitment to yourself?
My favorite commitment to myself is to always challenge myself to grow. That you're never too young to learn, you're never too young to teach, and you're never too old to learn. I'm learning from young people like yourself, because you are my future, a future that I will perhaps never see. And so by being open, I remember when I graduated from high school, we had a theme that said, you never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. The moment you think you know, you've lost it. You've lost it. You don't know. Life is something to be experienced. You get a glimpse. You peak to peak, as Robert Schuller would say. You P-E-A-K, so you can P-E-E-K. You peak to peak and know there's more there.
Great.
Yeah, Socrates says a man's reach is to supersede his grasp, or what are the heavens for?